Do you think that cheap silver foil is going to save you when you're parked up in a wet Morrison's car park, freezing your knackers off in January? Well, it's not. This 75mm board is going to solve the absolute biggest, most miserable problem in the UK van life. But I'm warning you right now, using it creates a massive issue, the stealth factor. So let's have a bit of a reality check. So I've been living full time in this tin can for 3 years now. The Instagram lot will have you believing that van life is all about waking up in your pants, throwing open the back doors to a sunny beach in Cornwall and drinking perfectly brewed flat white while a gentle breeze comes through. I mean, that's complete bollocks. So the reality of full-time van life in the UK is waking up at 6 AM, your breath making thick clouds in the air, it's condensation literally dripping off the ceiling directly in onto your face, and your bones are aching from damp that just seeps into everything you own. When I first started, I thought that throwing a bit of recycled plastic wood behind the plywood would do the job. That was an absolute rookie mistake. My first winter, I was constantly knackered, running the diesel heater on full blast all night just to stop the 12-volt electrics from getting damp and shorting out. It's a miserable way to live, to be honest, mate, and it costs a fortune in fuel. It drains your battery bank and it also ruins your expensive gear, and honestly it makes you want to pack it all up and go and rent a flat again. But after 3 winters of brutal try and error, I found a foolproof way around it. This is what I call the overkill plan. It fundamentally changes how you build a van, but I have to keep the biggest drawback a secret just for 1 second, because it's going to completely alter how you survive when you're stealth parking. Right, let's get into the meat of this. So insight number 1 is the thermal envelope. If you're building a van right now, or even sketching one out, everyone tells you to use the 25 to 50mm insulation. If you're feeling flush and you don't mind losing a bit of space, they tell you it saves the interior width. But let me tell you, saving 2 inches of space means absolutely nothing when you're shivering in your sleeping bag in February. A van is a giant metal box, and it conducts the cold like you wouldn't believe. If you don't break that thermal bridge, the cold just weaks straight through the steel ribs on the van and into your bloody living space. Now that's why I'm pushing for the overkill plan. 75mm of Kingspan or Celotex rigid boards. Yes, you might lose a fair bit of width, and I tell you what, you won't be sleeping sideways in a Sprinter anymore, but you are essentially building a highly insulated rolling passive house. Insight number 2, you have to protect your 12-volt gear and your sanity. As you lot know, I run a full 4G, 5G gaming setup in here. I've got a PlayStation 5 and a hefty bank of lithium batteries and a heavy duty inverter. And if the inside of my van drops to freezing, the lithium batteries won't accept the charge. And the BMS literally shuts them down to protect the cells. And if you've got damp air condensing on cold electronics, you can say goodbye to thousands of pounds worth of gaming gear in a single night. Plus, Rowan isn't a husky, she's a Cocker Spaniel, and she needs a warm space. With 75mm insulation, I can run my diesel heater on the absolute lowest setting for about 20 minutes or so, turn it off, and then the van, it will hold the heat for hours. No massive battery drains from the heater fan running constantly, and absolutely no damp gaming monitors. But here's the thing about damp, which brings us to insight number 3, the vapour barrier. You can stuff all that 75mm foam into the walls, but when you don't seal it properly, you are absolutely taking the piss. Every time you boil the kettle for a brew, every time you cook some pasta, or even if you just breathe, you're pumping moisture into the air. And if that moisture gets past your insulation and hits the freezing cold steel skin of your van, it condenses. Then it turns to rust, then you get the black mould, and then your van rots from the inside out. So you have to use proper aluminium foil tape, not masking tape, not cheap gaffer tape from Poundland. You need to tape every single seam, every joint, every little tiny gap you make on the inside of the van, completely airtight before a single piece of rustic timber cladding goes up. Now, just before I drop the massive bombshell about the stealth factor, I want to hear from you lot. So I want you to drop a comment down below. What's the one van life mistake that ended up costing you a fortune? Or if you're not even on the road yet, what game gets you through a grim winter's nights? For me, firing up Red Dead Redemption 2 when it's pouring down and rain outside is a lifesaver. Let me know your thoughts and I'll be having a read through the comments with the brew later tonight. Right, let's talk about the massive catch. The big issue with the 75mm overkill plan, insight number 4, is the stealth trade-off. If you want the extreme level of thermal efficiency, you cannot have those windows. Absolutely zero, none. Think about it logically, mate. You spend days grafting, cutting this 75mm foam up, taping it all up, bleeding from the knuckles, making a perfect thermal barrier, and then you go and take an angle grinder and cut a massive square on the side just to fit a single plain glass window. Now, you've just completely ruined the insulation. You might as well leave the back doors open, because glass has an R value of basically nothing. All your hard-earned heat will be poured straight out the window into the night sky. So, zero windows, it's brilliant for insulation, but it forces you into a completely different style of van life. It means you're going full stealth. Now, when I park up on a residential estate or an industrial park in the Midlands, nobody has a clue I'm here. There's no light bleeding out the windows when I'm gaming at 1 AM in the morning. No massive patches of condensation on the glass giving me away to them local curtain twitchers. Just a plain white commercial box. But mentally, living in a windowless box is going to be tough. You have to rely entirely on 12-volt lighting and vents for the air. You're going to have to manufacture your own airflow. It's a huge physiological trade-off. But if you want to survive the UK winters without grafting all day just to pay for that diesel litre fuel, it's the only way forward. So that's the overkill plan. 75mm of rigid board, sealed tighter than a bloody submarine. And absolutely zero windows. It's brutal. It's a bit extreme, but it is the absolute truth about what it takes to live comfortably in the UK all year round, without freezing yourself to death or rotting your van from the inside out. It keeps my gaming setup safe, keeps rowing nice and warm, and it stops me from going completely mad in January. So if you would like the actual truth about full-time van life in the UK, the DIY, the 12-volt setups, and surviving these miserable winters without Instagram filter, then hit that subscribe button. We're building a proper community of realists here. All the gear I use for my setup, electrics, the heaters, it's all linked down below in the description. And if you want to buy Rowan a treat for putting up with me taking up all the space with Kingspan, then the co-through link's down there as well. Also, be sure to check out this video here if you want. Drop a like if it helped, and I'll see you guys on the next one.